Awesome. We're live.
Hey
Hey,
Dhruv, good
Vikram.
evening.
Good evening. Good evening. How's the? How are you doing? More importantly.
Doing well. It's start of the season for us. It's after Christmas. It's basically small lull period. Not much of travel. The tournaments have started. The tournament professionals have all traveled to Cambodia and Manila. I don't play tournaments much these days. I'm more a cash player. So I'm here, and my travel also should be starting probably end of this month, early March, and we'll be on the road for quite a bit.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So, obviously, we're here
And
to
of course,
talk
yeah,
about.
with the new legal ruling that's come, they more or less make us go on the road more often. So it's a stepmotherly treatment that I see towards Tamil Nadu, and also a great initiative by EWA because this is EPWA contesting this and trying to represent the players is a great thing. What's going to happen is it's happened in the past where the industry, when in its nascent stages, we had a lot of issues with respect to taxation. Like there was no clarity in the initial days of online poker. We were paying tax every day, and it would not be offloaded with our yearly winnings and losings. The sites, the poker sites, the players association, all of them, represented, got got into the officials who look after this, and then the wallets and the cashier system in the online system was made sure that it was calculated April to April. So this industry, from being in the industry from the start or from the nascent stages of the gaming industry, we have seen all ups and downs. But this thing that's been published by the Tamil Nadu government is a new, and me along with my friends are going to try and see if we can make a change or try bringing in more regulatories which are also player friendly. Some of the points which have been mentioned here are not too player specific.
Yeah, yeah, I completely hear you, and I think, look, gaming as a sector just over the years has evolved so much because when the regulatory framework that existed in India for games, some of it actually goes back a number of years. We had the gambling laws, and there was always that sort of conversation of whether a game is a game of skill, game of chance. Gambling is a state subject, and anything that falls in that gray zone, you need to ensure that the center and state are ad idem, they agree with each other.
Exactly, Dhruv. At this point, I would like to bring something into notice. Uh, what exactly the problem here is? This particular committee was formed by the government because of a lot of untowardly incidents happening in the rummy industry. But me, I have nothing to do with rummy. I'm a poker professional. I represent the country. I travel around the world, and I'm a tax player. I play for the country. I play in a few leagues. It's a more dignified game. It's a skill game. Rummy too is a skill game, but the government and the authorities or the commission, the commission that was summoned to work out on this, has not been able to bifurcate, because if you go into a gaming site, your wallet will have money which will allow you to play in a rummy site as well as on a poker site, or you could just interchange. So probably that that's the gap that I feel, which has not been bridged. For example, if you take the new clause which says that the system will not allow you to log in between 12 o'clock to 5 a.m., which is a peak traffic time for tournament poker. Uh, like even a chess player can't practice his game or play online between 12 to 5, which is going to be a big hindrance for a few of the gaming sections, but not for everything. For example, if somebody wants to play a fantasy sport, select a team for IPL. The IPL match starts at 8 o'clock, and I think their window to participate in competition ends around 7:30. And by 12 o'clock, they are shut. The shop is shut, and they're moving on. But here, if you're asking a Tamil Nadu player not to play from 12 to 5 or forego his tournament that he is been playing, is like telling a cricket player to play only up to lunch, and after lunch the sun is very hot. Don't play for 50 overs. Just play for very little, and you know after lunch you cannot go out to bat. Even if you're a knockout batsman, you have to retire early. That's the long story short here.
Got it, got it. And I think, Vikram, I think what will be useful is for people who are actually watching, if we can just very quickly summarize what this new sort of regulatory framework that Tamil Nadu is looking to introduce is, right? It's not just the 12 to 5
That
period
was the
of the
only
blackout.
alarming concern that I saw, Dhruv. But
Yeah,
to come back to your point, lot of great points, lot of great additions have been made,
yeah,
which will keep minors in check. The KYC documents, the gaming industry has evolved over the years. So today,
yeah,
if I want to play a poker from my side, there are a lot of KYC hurdles that I'll have to cross just to make sure integrity of fair play, and also to make sure that your wallet and your gaming account is safe. So I'll just quickly let me read through this. All minors under the age of 18 shall be not allowed to play online real games, which is very welcoming, because 18 plus is the legal age. And even the gaming companies are doing a lot of things like having their own counseling and making sure the KYC checks are done. The KYC checks are top notch today. Like, even if there's a slight doubt, you'll have to come on a video conference, you'll have to talk with somebody from the gaming company, make sure that you're fair. So that's about right. And then now they're trying to bring in two-level verification, one with the Aadhaar card and one probably with the mobile number, which will again only make sure that the process is smooth, and there is no one malpractice is also kept in check, and also minors do not get into the gaming sector without knowing what it is.
yeah, yeah. And I think that's the point that I was trying to make, saying that maybe we should look at some of the other regulations as well before we come to the midnight to 5 a.m. sort of blackout zone, because I think we also need to give due credit where it's due. Now, I understand the practical problems with the 12 to 5, because not only does it sort of apply to you, it actually applies to all games. So even if you're a chess player participating in a tournament, that's the window where you actually can't log in, right? So we'll come to that for a second. But I think, given the history that Tamil Nadu has had with online gaming, right? We've had instances where very strict ordinances have been passed. We have had instances where they've been challenged in court. There have been instances where there have been attempts to completely ban any kind of gaming in Tamil Nadu, right? So it's been fairly conservative. And from
There was a ban for a very short period,
I
which got
agree. I agree.
which got
And
lifted
from
later.
there, yeah, and from there we've moved now to an act which was passed, which also, by the way, was challenged in its entirety. But the court, in its wisdom at that point of time, came and said, "Look, guys, the act is fine, right? We've got a commission that's set up. We've got rules. We've got regulations, but we will make minor tweaks in this law and ensure that it applies to any game of chance, a game of skill, right? So effectively, if as long as it's not a game of chance, it's a game of skill, you can continue to function the way within the parameters of the law." And I think, given that, right, given how much we've evolved as far as the regulatory framework is concerned in Tamil Nadu, the 4 or 5 points that we spoke about in terms of KYC, in terms of the pop-ups, in terms of regulating the amount of time that you're spending, I think that's a very positive step from the authority, from the commission, to say that, look, there is a problem we need to identify, or we have identified, which is addiction, which is everything that was going wrong as far as the gaming ecosystem was concerned in Tamil Nadu. All those issues were flagged. There had been instances of suicide. So we want to make sure that whatever policy we make not only caters to companies and players like you, who are far more mature in their understanding of how an online game has to be played, but also those who don't necessarily play with that level of maturity, right? So you've got to strike a balance when you make a policy. And I think it's important to give them due credit where it's due. So
They've definitely done a great job in streamlining this and making sure that the
yeah,
welfare the public, of the state citizens are looked after. But there are certain things like you're taking the broader picture of gaming as a whole. Like,
Yeah,
say, if somebody is playing recreationally rummy in the evening, you might not want him to play for more than 1.5 hours, 2 hours. But as I
yeah,
said, as a poker tournament player, it's like playing a test match. It's like
yeah,
I need to play more hours to come out on top, to beat the field and be a winner and come in the top three brackets. So when I log in, my motive is not to play for a short time, but to play a long time and come out as a winner at the end of the tournament, which might take 4 hours, 5 hours, or 6 hours to complete. So, with respect to element for a recreational player who is playing rummy for time pass or as an hobby, it makes these messages make very positive impact and also keeps them in check. But here, for a professional player like me, it's very demotivating to say that you played 1 hour, you need to log out. It's going to be 12 o'clock. You need to step out. This is my bread
yeah,
and butter. I'm a
yeah,
taxpayer. In fact,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
we don't not only pay tax now, we pay GST too. So all our buy-ins are because of the gaming law and the GST integration. If I go buy in for 10 rupees in a gaming site, I will be given only 7 rupees 20 paisa to go ahead and play. So I'm already starting with a negative backup, and then if you want to go further, once I win, I pay 30% tax, which is deducted, and so that's you're literally playing for 42% of the price pool.
Yeah, yeah, no, I hear you. Look, so I think that aspect has been very, debated a fair bit by pretty much everybody who's a gamer, right? And since the new GST law was implemented, it's something that all players to that extent have taken that hit, and the platforms have passed on that cost to players. But I think coming back to these new regulations, right? There is, of course, the great sort of point that you made in terms of livelihood, that at the end of the day, we need to also test this new regulation in the spirit of whether it is constitutional, in the sense that somebody sitting outside of Tamil Nadu, who could probably be your peer, who plays against you, with you in tournaments, say sitting in Kerala or Andhra or Maharashtra or Delhi, has no such restriction, but your location, your geographical location, is actually being counterproductive for your livelihood, right? So, I mean, it's an interesting argument, and I only wonder whether this
It's
is
it's
some.
this kind of law is definitely there in more mature markets or markets which have been in the gaming industry for longer period of time. But then you'll have to understand these are all standalone gaming sites. There is a separate network channel for a chess player to go play in that country. There is a individual poker card room for him to go play online. If he wants to play rummy, there's a separate rummy. Here, for various reasons, the gaming companies are bundled into one. Like, they are all sister concerns. If I want to play fantasy, if I want to play rummy, if I want to play chess, if I want to play ludo, if I want to poker, it's all under one umbrella. It's one more often than not. There are not standalone sites. So what happens here is, if the law is implemented in Sweden, it is for the entire country, and the entire country is playing on a level platform. Here, me, say, if I'm a gamer, if I'm trying to participate in the Player of the Year uh, in the online tournaments, you are straight away stopping me from achieving that and giving me an unlevel playground. Players from other states enjoy playing the tournaments throughout, but whereas here I would be not allowed to play after a certain amount, or there are a lot of limitations. So that's a concern that I see in smaller state like Tamil Nadu, and not the whole country, because here the laws behave differently and each state has a different law. But I'm sure if the governments and the concerned people are going to be having a look at it, they're just going to take a leaf out of Tamil Nadu and probably implement it into other states, and that would slowly but steadily make sure that the online gaming industry takes a big back foot, and people like us who depend on our bread and butter for this have to look for other livelihoods or for other modes. I'm not sure at
Got it.
40 if I could go find another livelihood. It's been a good over a decade that I've been playing poker professionally. I've represented India over the years. I play almost very regular interval, and this is my source of income. I pay tax regularly, so it's an industry that people. The problem that I've probably faced is people don't understand, or people fail to believe that there are people whose bread and butter is based on gaming industry. That is an area of concern. People plainly think that it is just an hobby. It's just a time pass for an individual. But no, this is livelihood for a few million gamers in the country.
Great point, Vikram. And I think, I mean, honestly, just out of curiosity, as a professional poker player, just walk us through a little bit about, through your day. Like, what's your regular day like, given this is actually your bread and butter?
So my regular day would be if I'm playing 4 to 5 hours of poker, I need to study 4 to 5 hours. I need to keep upgrading. It's like chess. I need to be ahead of the competition. If I played a game, say if I've been in Goa for a week playing games, I come back. I need to make notes, analyze, talk to coach, more, and also have a mind mentality coach who make sure that I am in the right frame of thought process. I'm doing the right things, well rested. Study plays a very important role. It's more or less preparing for a board exam. Every game is a board exam. We need to go back to the
And
drawing board, study.
yeah, yeah.
Now, I have a question
Yeah.
here. One of the audience has posted a question. Tejaswini has posted, how does it impact people playing from 10 p.m.?
So it's not
Tejaswini,
10 p.m. actually. Yeah.
there's not much clarity on this as yet because it's not implemented. It has been proposed and it should be implemented anytime. Probably they're waiting to get the feedbacks and probably, I'm not sure how it works, how the commission is going to work. But what I understand from the writing that I've seen on the newspapers and from the articles, it means that, if I'm from Tamil Nadu and I'm playing a tournament at 9 o'clock, and say the tournament generally is scheduled to finish at 2, 3 in the morning, after 12 in the night, that is midnight, till 5 in the morning, I would not be able to log in.
Login. Yeah. Yeah. So the threshold is not 10 p.m. Actually, it's midnight. But within what the regulation currently prescribes is that between there is a blackout period where the platform will not allow you to log in. So, like Vikram was saying, that if you started a tournament, you're pretty much only playing till midnight if the regulatory framework in its current form comes into shape. But sort of, Vikram, another sort of question around it, and I think we'll come to the questions in the chat box as well. But is it common for players, and I mean this, poker, rummy, chess, do players play across multiple platforms? And also just in terms of an impact, right? Like, so today we are sort of speculating that this law is going to come into force. Do you have any sense of the numbers that we are talking? Like, how many people are likely to get impacted because of this in Tamil Nadu?
I'm guessing I would be able to give you pure numbers with respect to poker, which would be a few thousands. But if you
Wow.
look at the other gamings, like if you're looking at chess, fantasy, rummy, and I would not be able to give you the right numbers, but I'm sure it would be a few thousands, close to a lakh or more
Oh, wow. So
professionals.
it's a significant pool of people.
Yes, I in Tamil Nadu, I have about in my 10 years, I would have come across and coached about 60 to 70 poker professionals, which is a very small sample size. It is one individual you're talking about. If you're looking at the entire industry and everything, it's a big number.
Fascinating. Okay, so we have a few more questions that are coming up. Even a rummy player might want to play for 4 hours. How is it justified for poker, not for rummy? I mean, they're pretty much at the same level. I don't think there is any
No,
distinction.
sorry, there is. We are not trying to say it's different. The
Yeah.
only point that I was putting forward is the poker tournaments are generally longer and more
Yeah.
time consuming. I have not seen a rummy lobby to be precise, but I think it's these are all 90 to 120 minutes. You can plan your schedule. If given a chance, if I was given a chance to rest 12 to 5, I would happily do it. But the industry is such, and also with recreationals and working professionals also joining these tournaments, that's
Hmm.
why over the years the prime time has been decided as 7 to 8 as the starting time, and
Hmm.
about 2 3 o'clock in the morning is about the right about time for the tournaments to get over. That
Got
is
it.
an
And how
average.
many? Sorry, please go ahead.
That's the kind of average schedule that an online poker player puts in.
Yeah, that's quite fascinating. And how many tournaments, for example, in a week would you end up playing, or most people would end up playing?
How many tournaments you said?
Yeah, in a week.
I'm guessing, somebody who's playing very professionally and plays should be playing 6 days a week, about 10 minimum 10 to 15 tournaments a day. That's about 80 90 tournaments in a week minimum, probably slightly higher in the volume based on what kind of buy-ins that the player plays predominantly, what kind of tournaments he gets. There are multiple platforms to come back to the question that you asked previously. If you look at a professional poker player, he's probably sitting in front of three laptop screens, two giant screens, and he's got two mouses and playing in about 16, 17 screens at the same time.
Sorry, wow. Okay, so and just approximately in terms of if you're not playing tournaments, right? What is it that you then do, and does this still impact you if you're not playing tournaments, or is it only impacting you because of the tournament sort of timing?
It'll still impact because if say I'm a cash game player, I play in a ring game. I'm sitting there with with X amount of money playing a game. If I want or not want at 12 in the night, just because I'm playing from Tamil Nadu, I'll be forced to quit the game. Probably the system will eject me out of my seat and not allow me to continue playing the game, which is not a great thing, even for a cash game player to happen. But at least the impact will not be as big as a tournament player, because I know 12 to 5 is not a time that I would be able to play, so I can make adjustments accordingly. But still, as you said, my counterparts, my peers, my competitors in the other parts of the country are going to be playing, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
I would
So,
be
so
asked
to
to.
that extent, it's definitely not a level playing field for everybody. And I mean, as a lawyer, I would say that that definitely makes a very strong and a very good ground to perhaps challenge the regulation, if at all it comes to that, on the ground of right to livelihood, right to equality, because especially when it's a game of skill, then for a state to make a law that could arguably be discriminatory is something
I,
that.
Yeah, even it's predominantly kept keeping the gambling part of it in mind, because anything has the good and the bad, and gambling, considering these sites as gambling and trying to put in quick money and try to double your money and move on and get it into your bank. These are the kind of hobbyists or youngsters that the government wants to make them mature and make them understand about the uh, adverse effects of gaming, if any. Other than that, we as poker players are more accustomed to these situations. We have mind coaches, like any professional poker player might not even have a coach who coaches him on the skill set. But I'm sure there are more people who have coaches who coach them on the mindset,
Just
because
tell us a little bit about that. That's actually quite fascinating. What are these mind coaches? What do they actually do?
the mind coaches, they get you into the right kind of temperament, make sure that giving you enough patience. Not probably, we call it tilt.
Hmm.
Tilt is a wrong thing for a poker player to go through. Tilt is
Hmm.
something when it's like when your mind says something but your actions does something else. You're not there physically competing with the others. You go on and off because you're playing a long game. to have the same level of mindset, whether you're getting good balls to bat or bad balls to bat, is the difference between a Virat Kohli and a not Virat Kohli.
I love how you,
A good poker
Vikram,
player.
yeah. No, I was saying I love how you have a cricket analogy for everything.
Oh, like it makes it easy. I do a lot of mind coaching too, and I spend a lot of time with youngsters. It's now, I think it's now almost close to 12, 13 years in the industry. I've seen the industry grow from top and skyrocket into the next level. We have a lot of young kids who have taken this as professions. Students from IIT, IIM, bankers, well-educated people, great backgrounds who take up this. And cricket, all Indians connect easily with cricket, and making them understand, giving cricket analogy makes it simpler.
Yeah, yeah, no, I agree. I agree. I mean, it's definitely making it simpler for me as I converse with you. So, 100%. So, Vikram, I mean, just sort of thinking out aloud, right? Like, if today, let's maybe take a step away from this
I'll just
midnight.
take one final question, Dhruv.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
There's an interesting question. If someone is not playing a tournament but a game, starting at 11:30 till then, when does it last? So the good thing about online is that you can go in, you can play, and there's no time restrictions. You can get up and leave the game, quit the game anytime. In tournaments, if you're quitting the game, it means that you're surrendering your uh, competition, and you don't want to, go. You're basically earth retiring, or you're just abandoning the game. So that is a problem in tournaments. With respect to cash games, that it's not time constrained. It's up to you. You can sit, you can make money, and once you're in profit, you can leave. Or if you want to play longer, you can continue. It's up to the individual. The site does not have any limitations.
Till now. Going forward, if you're even playing a game that involves money, which of course it will, then there could possibly be a 12 a midnight blackout time. So when you will probably be logged out. So agree with you there. No, so Vikram, I mean, I was just trying to understand that, even if you take a step back from these current Tamil Nadu regulations that we are talking about, in your view, as somebody who's been playing professional poker for so long, what's an ideal scenario? Like, what would you expect the state to do, and how would you expect them to support players like you? And I don't mean just for poker, I mean pretty much any online game.
Uh, Meet us, talk to us, understand what we go through. If there is a problem in a company, in a union, they meet the workers of the company. If there is a problem in an educational institute, the student leaders are made to meet. Here, I feel uh, there is more importance given to the gaming companies, and the stakeholders right up on the umbrella are given more preferences and importance and are spoken, whereas player who lives on this, whose bread and butter depends on this, is not probably considered as much as he should be considered. In fact, you wouldn't believe, I made a couple of phone calls. I volunteered myself to be part of this uh, understanding of the gaming industry, but there was I wasn't welcome. Like I was just knocking into closed doors. There was nobody to meet me and understand. Uh, Probably that is something that we would love to be engaged and be. In the past, we have represented the Players Association. We have gone to the high courts of various states and made the judges understand what is poker, why it is a legal game, why is it a skill game. We were looked down back in the day, and today I can proudly say I'm a poker player. I'm a former India number one, and these are my laurels. People tend to uh, understand more, which is more overwhelming from the public side, but from the authorities and the decision makers and the uh, other people, I would want more acceptance, and also meet us and try to understand where we are at, because this gaming industry is huge. There are a lot of people not only part of the playing, but then also the other parts of working, analysts, technicians, software developers. It's a very big industry, and we are also making the right marks in the global market. Like how we have a world champion in chess in the form of Vishwanath Anand and Gukesh. Now we also have champions who have won bracelets for us in the World Series of Poker, who have represented the country. We have had our tears when the national anthem is played, when the flag is raised in these global tournaments. I've had first-hand experiences. My friends in the poker fraternity have had it. We are most of us have taken up this sport because we uh, maybe liking for cards, but also all of us as kids, as sports people, wanted to represent the country. Probably cricket, most of us, I want to play for the country one day. I'm the couple day of my thing, but not too many of us got a chance to play for the country or represent the country. But when poker was there, given to us, a lot of us are ex-sportsmen who have played other sports, who have been very competitive in university, college levels, or even greater levels, and the competitive level has taken us into poker, and representing the country makes us very proud. And
I
unlike other sports, we do not have a body which pays us or gives us a salary to go. We are going with our own hard-earned money. We go, we win, we pay taxes. So it's not an easy life, but we just want. But it's definitely gotten better from where it was in the past, and we just want to make the road ahead better for the gamers to come, and we want more people and the industry to go, and also have the national flag flying high in the global stage.
What an amazing response. I'm telling you, Vikram, a part of me actually wants to stand up and applaud, but I don't think it'll have the same kind of impact doing it virtually. So I'll hold myself back. But really, I think that is fantastic.
Varshita is asking, how do I do KYC? The gaming industry is very mature now. Today, you will, as and when you join, you will not be allowed to play the first game until and unless you finish your KYC and you become a registered member. And if they see some kind of information not matching or some kind of malpractice found, they have a very stringent policies. These sites, they have a big KYC verification team. It's almost like a bank.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the beauty of the gaming industry, right? Like, think of where it was 20 years ago. And while I completely understand a lot of the pain points, Vikram, that you spoke about, I do recall that about 15 years ago, I had just started my career and we were trying to represent a big US casino acquire a gaming platform in India. And one big reason why they backed out was the ambiguity around poker, whether it's a game of chance or a game of skill. And I'm talking about 15 years ago. And so, in terms of the progress that we've made today, there is no doubt in anybody's mind that poker is a game of skill. And like you said, today you proudly tell people that you play poker and you've represented poker on the national and the international front. So I think we also have to give due credit where, in terms of the progress that we've made. And I think that the one big takeaway from what you explained is that sensitization is a two-way process. While we are happy to understand the regulator's perspective, the authorities' perspective, and the realities they have to deal with in their state, it is
There's a
equally
lot that
important
has
for them.
happened. There's a lot that has happened in the state, bro. There have been a few cases of, suicides
Yes.
because of financial problems because of rummy and thing. But what the authorities are doing, yes, hats off, great respect to them. But if we are in the nascent stage, even for them to understand what the market is, it's going to be to and fro. I'm just
Yeah.
requesting the authorities to have the doors open and have it as a to and fro for a certain time and involve people like us who could, add value in making this a better place for all the stakeholders.
Absolutely. And look, which is what I was saying, that sensitization is a two-way street, right? You're happy to be sensitized about the reasons why a certain policy is made. And the expectation is that the regulator will also open their doors for you, where you can go and explain to them practically how something is conducted on ground and the challenges you faced if they make laws in isolation without engaging with you. So I think that's the one big takeaway I would say, that and it's happening across sectors, right? And I'll tell you, for example, in the space of privacy law, people are now engaging with companies, with stakeholders to understand the way data travels. Similarly, it is important, and I know we've made progress in the past few years as well, even as far as gaming regulations are concerned. But given the speculated regulation that Tamil Nadu is likely to pass, I do think engaging with people like you, organizations like EPWA, right? Because it's also very important for platforms like EPWA to exist to be able to represent players before authorities. Okay, we are getting more questions. Uh,
It's my mother. She's asking me questions related to poker. She's very
so
excited.
I read something and I was like, wait, Vikram, they want you to disclose your secret sauce. I don't know whether you should.
Yeah, that's my mom's posted a question. What are the most important factor you consider when deciding whether to call, race, or fold? She thinks it's a coaching session. Yeah, but one good thing about Tamil Nadu is today the sports minister is also the deputy chief minister. He's a youngster, and he understands what poker is, what gaming is, and he's not from old school. And in fact, he was one of the pioneers. He was one of the first persons to bring snow bowling into Tamil Nadu when bowling was not even heard in India. So I am just hoping that he gets involved in some capacity and meets the commission and understands, and definitely the road ahead is good. It's only going to be better, and even with respect to the restrictions that the commission has put, everything has been good with respect to giving the making sure that the industry grows and becomes better. But there are small points which are not making it a level playground, which I'm sure they might have failed to consider or address it at that point, because it's a very mm, it's like, people are going to think it's a shop. The shop is closed. You can't go buy anything now. But you're failing to understand that there's already a bunch of crowd inside the shop which are shopping when the shop is closed, and the morning when the shop is reopened, and when you try to go buy in something, the stocks are out because the players inside are going to finish up what is left, and there's not going to be much left for the latecomers.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think I fully agree with that. And that's where I feel, and I know that we have a lot of um, gamers who've joined us today, potential gamers. And I think the one, like I said, the one important takeaway from what you said as well is why it's important for regulators to hear your perspective, to understand the practical realities, and which is where I feel organizations like EPWA come in very handy.
Varshita,
They,
Varshita has got a very interesting question here. What if I
yeah.
play through VPN?
Oh, I actually meant to ask you that, and perhaps act more than that. The question is, are you seeing instances where, I mean, we've had instances where, past instances where gaming was banned as well. Have people sort of gone onto the VPN and tried to, play online?
Yes, forget the educated, the well versed gaming players or the poker players. Let me take you around a ride in my car for a 3-4 kilometer radius. There are these internet hotspots where you get free internet, and I'm sure you will find 10 to 12 uh, boys, young kids sitting there and playing PUBG middle of the night because they've got free internet. They can't afford internet at home, but they want to play PUBG. They have a smartphone. These guys huddle up and they play with free internet through VPN. And VPN, I would be lying if I say VPN will not be used. But if you ask me, I don't use VPN. Like, people know I'm sitting here in Chennai tomorrow. If I'm going to be going to Goa and playing a game in Goa, the Indian poker fraternity knows about it. And if I ship a tournament, the poker media is going to go buck and going to post it. So I don't want to have a tussle with the authorities, and I'm too old for online. I can't stay up night. So it's a young man's game. I'm just here representing my peers and the future generation of gamers.
And I
I'm,
think
I'm,
that's the
I'm
point, really, Vikram, that at the end of the day, if the spirit of the law can be bypassed through such easy means, I think it's important for regulators to also understand that the solution is not in that absolute ban and then making people figure out creative ways like a VPN to again sort of bypass what the regulators meant for them to follow, but really hear them and understand the pain points. Because whether if you want to keep the platform safe for players, and for a second if you look at the regulations in totality and just remove the 12 to 5 point and look at everything else, it's fantastic, right? It's you're getting to know if you're getting addicted, because the time that you're spending on the platform, you're getting updates on that. But the only difference is you can actually play around the clock whenever you want.
We need helpline numbers. We need counselors. That's the need of the
Absolutely.
hour, not these restrictions.
Fantastic, fantastic. So I think that's a great summary, that we need counselors, we need helpline numbers, and we want to ensure that people don't get addicted. We want to ensure that the overall welfare of the players is maintained, is kept. But restrictive provisions like this that come in the way of players to play really, and for those where their livelihood depends on it, regulations like this are certainly something that authorities should reconsider. Okay, so I think Vikram, I don't know how much time we have, but just for everyone's interest, I know some people joined a little late, but we've spoken about this briefly, but just to play devil's advocate, why is 12 to 5 so critical for gamers? Why
12
can't
to
it be like a regular working professional's day where you work during the day, so you play during the day, and the 12 to 5 slot shouldn't really matter in the grand scheme of things?
let me tell you, if I'm going to be playing with professionals in the daytime, I would be competing with players of my skill set, or probably better skill set, and the chances of me winning are going to be less. But what happens in a country like India is after 6, 7 in the evening, when your IT professionals, when your bankers, these people come back from their day's work, they log in for a few hours, play a game or hobby, for their hobby or for their time pass. And these are the recreational players who are using this medium to treat it as a source of entertainment. And people like us who are professionals who want to make money out of it are waiting for these uh, gentlemen to come join the game so we could play a game where the skill set of ours is better than the others. So these guys go to office, so it becomes easy and convenient for them to log in the night after putting the kids to sleep, after spending time with the family, after having dinner with the family. That's their prerogative. That's why it's gone. To tell you and to break this down very simply, say if in a week all poker platforms put together have about 5 crores in prize money, I would tell you the 5 crores prize money from Monday to Sunday is predominantly distributed, or I would say about 4.5 crores or 4.6 crores of this 5 crores is being distributed between 12 to 5 in the morning. That's the most peak traffic time for gamers. And when I say uh, gaming, I'm more biased and talking towards
Poker.
keeping poker in mind, but I'm sure it's the same case with Rummy also, because if somebody is playing Rummy professionally and he wants to make a living out of it, he wants the recreational players and the VIP players, we call it. When I say VIP players, he's somebody who's got a lot of money. He wants to come play for a little bit of money, try his luck, treating this as an hobby and go back. So, and for somebody to cut the luck element and be a winner consistently, study, mental coaching, analysis of what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, all this plays a very important role. So, somebody playing in the night, say from 7 in the night to 5, 6 in the morning, is going to sleep till about 1, 2, and before he logs in again at 6 o'clock, he's going back to the drawing board, going to make a study, and going to come back as a better player the next day.
Fair. Okay, we have a couple of more questions, it seems.
It's similar. Even if you see a casino environment, if you go to Goa, there's more traffic in the night.
That is true.
People don't show up in the daytime, even though they are in Goa and they are living there for the 3 4 days of that travel period. But somehow, if given a chance, first thing that I would like to make it, getting into 40 plus age category, I would want to make it a day sport. But we are far from making it a day sport.
No, fair enough, fair enough. We also have a question, uh, which is, I'm just opening it. What if I play with VPN and my TDS can track home state?
So there's another question following that up. Can someone sue me if I'm playing through VPN and win? I'm not. We have not had instances of that where people. But of course, if you are playing from somewhere where you're not allowed to play and it is found, obviously you're breaking the law and you're a lawbreaker, and the authorities can definitely take any kind of decision against you as per the laws pertaining to the local state. If any gamers watching, I would advise them not to go for the VPN model. But either there have been instances of a lot of youngsters who have relocated their states only for playing this game, which means that today I cannot stay with my family if I want to continue online poker. I need to shift to a different state and play, which is very disheartening to say the least. I would like to continue playing the trade that I've learned from the livelihood of my home or my office in my state.
Yeah, and just sort of to answer the question around what happens if I play it illegally, the actual Tamil Nadu Act under which these rules are likely to be made, the actual law in Tamil Nadu says that if you do that, you play in contravention of the law, there can be imprisonment for up to 3 months, I believe, as well as a fine or both. So there are consequences, and we've seen instances in the past where Tamil Nadu has actually enforced its laws. So just something to keep in mind that there can be consequences if you don't follow the letter and spirit of the law, and which is why it's important for laws to be made after consulting folks who actually play, so that the real issues that need to be addressed in the policy framework, in the regulatory framework, can be very, very clearly understood.
Uh, we are in the right direction. It's just matter of time before all stakeholders are brought into place. But this being the start of a great journey ahead, I think the right decisions are made, and the right corrections are made at the right time, and does not come across as hindrance for someone just because he or she was born in one particular state. I'm totally all right if it is a law which is passed on in all states where it's a level playing ground. The only
Yeah.
thing is now I have to look for other means if I'm an online player in Tamil Nadu.
Yeah. So again, I think the hope, the expectation is that from this discussion, perhaps what we can do is sensitize the key stakeholders that the 12 to 5 blackout period is something that is disproportionate, that really doesn't solve the purpose that regulators are perhaps looking to solve by putting a provision like that. We are all very happy that minors can't play online real money games. We are all very happy that there is a KYC requirement. We are all very happy that KYC has to be strictly implemented and there'll be consequences if you don't. We are all very happy with perhaps pop up caution messages that need to show up after you've played for more than an hour, and every 30 minutes that there is a message telling you that you've been playing for so long, so that there is a sense of accountability in your own behavior and you don't get addicted. We are all very comfortable where you have the option to fix weekly and monthly monetary limits for how much you want to spend, and pop-up messages indicating how much money you've spent so far. And we are all very comfortable that at the time of login there is a very clear disclaimer that gaming can be addictive in nature. So there is a lot that's already in the framework where players can exercise their own discretion, their own sense of understanding of how they wish to play. But in the grand scheme of things, the overall intent behind actually protecting players, this requirement of the 12 to 5 blackout period is perhaps slightly disproportionate and could be done away with. Is that right, Vikram?
That's right, and I'm sure uh, they're going to understand when the right points are put forward, and if the proper kind of representation is made. And I'm hoping EPWA will bridge the gap between the players and the authorities.
Fantastic. Okay, so um, thank you very much. I think we're probably at the end of our conversation. I have to, like I said, I have to figure out a way to applaud for everything that you've done uh, in the poker space and all the great work that you're doing representing India. It's fantastic. We do hope that you get a lot more opportunities, and the pain points that you have spoken about today are adequately addressed, which I'm sure they will be, because like I said, we've made a lot of progress in the last 15, 20 years. We only talk about the bads, but when you look at the goods, we've really evolved and matured and are one of the biggest nations as far as online gaming is concerned. So I think there is
Yeah,
a lot of positive there as well. And so thank you very much.
my pleasure. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you so much.
See you guys.
See ya.